Okay, so I'm going to go over the notes for the volume of prisms. Remember, the volume is going to be how much something can hold. Can hold. We're talking about filling it up, okay, with water, gravel, sand, anything that we're going to pour into a three-dimensional figure and fill it up with. V stands for volume. The B stands for the area of the base. Okay, big B stands for the area of the base, not just the base itself, but the area of the base. And the H is going to stand for the height of the whole figure. So, not to be confused, because it's not going to be the height of the base, it's the height of the whole figure. So, there's going to be actually 4 steps. Step 1 is done here for you. Write the formula. Step 1, write the formula. Step 2 is going to be to change the formula. So I'm going to move on to step 2, and I'm going to change the formula according to the to what shape the base is in. So according to the base, I'm going to change the formula. Change the formula. Okay, so I write the formula, I change the formula, then I am going to, step 3 is going to be plug my values in. Plug in values. Now, these are either going to come from your word problem, or they are going to come from your shape itself when you're looking at it. And step 4 is going to be to solve. We're going to use order of operations, order of ops, and we're going to solve. Okay, so I'm going to start with step 1, and I'm going to write the formula for this prism. This shape right here is going to be a rectangular prism. It has a rectangular base. Okay, the base is in the shape of a rectangle, so we have a rectangular base, and then we have the height of the whole figure. Okay, so step 1 is going to be to write the formula. So volume is equal to the area of the base times the height. Now step 2, when I look at my base and I see that it's in the shape of a rectangle, I know that the area of the base, or the area of the rectangle, is going to be base times height. So this is when I plug in base and height for the base, and then the height of the whole figure. Okay, then I go to step 3, which is plug in the values. So I'm looking for 3 values here: the base of the base, the height of the base, and the height of the whole figure. Step 3 is to plug in your values. So volume is equal to, base of the base is going to be 6.4 times the height of the base is going to be 6.7 times the height of the whole figure, which is 13.9. So what my equation tells me to do is to multiply these 3 numbers together. So step number 4 is going to be to solve. So I'm going to multiply 6.4 times 6.7 times 13.9. And I'm going to get the volume is equal to 596.032 meters cubed. And it's important that you put that 3 and understand that that means that it's a 3-dimensional figure. Okay, now we go to number 2. Step 1 is going to be to write the formula. So we have to go to we have to decide what kind of formula we have. decide what kind of figure that we have, and then we can match the formula to it. So the figure that I have here has the base in the shape of a rectangle. No, it has the base in the shape of a triangle. So our shape is going to be a triangular prism. So I go here, volume. Volume is equal to big B, which is area of the base, times the height. So step 1, I write down my formula. Step 1, volume is equal to area of the base times the height. Step 2 is going to be to change the formula. Now notice, this shape does not sit on its base. This triangle is actually the base of this shape with its own base and its own height. So now I have to plug in the formula for the area of a triangle, which is 1/2 base times height, and then we don't forget times the height of the whole figure. Area of the base, 1/2 base times height of the whole figure. Now we have to go and plug our values in. Step number 3 is plug your values in. Volume is equal to 1/2 is equal to 0.5 times the base of the base is 3 times the height of the base, which is at a right angle to the base, is 2, and the height of the whole figure is here, and that's going to be 10 yards. So times 10. Okay. All right. So then step 4 just tells me that I need to calculate. So I'm going to multiply 0.5, and all of these are being multiplied together. So I have 0.5 times 3 times 2 times 10, and I come up with a volume of 30 yards cubed, because once again I have a 3-dimensional figure. Okay, now we can move straight on into the volume of pyramids. So we'll go turn your paper over and you'll go to the other side. The volume of pyramids. Let's go to our formula chart. We need to write down the formula. Volume of a pyramid is 1/3 area of the base times the height. So we'll write the formula in. Volume is equal to 1/3 area of the base times the height. And don't forget that the big B stands for area of the base. It is not just the base itself. The base has more than one measurement, and it's not going to be one number. It has to be figured out on its own. So we'll look at our shape and we'll determine what shape that we have. Now, notice on a pyramid, you only have one base, and it sits on the base. So the base is actually a little bit easier to identify on a pyramid because there is only one base on a pyramid. The other end will go to a point. Now, if you notice that there's going to be some space, if that went straight up, it would be more volume. We could fit more water, we could fit more sand, we could fit more gravel into this rectangular pyramid, but because it goes to a point, we make sure we have to not to lose our 1/3. So the first thing we do is write our formula. Volume is equal to 1/3 area of the base times the height. That's your formula. Now we change our formula, and the second thing that we're going to write is we're going to plug in what we would find for the big B, which is area of the base. Our base is in the shape of a rectangle, and we know that the formula for the area of a rectangle, so we have 1/3. Now we're going to have to do times base times height, because that's the formula for the area of a rectangle, times the height of the whole figure. That's step 2. Step 3 is going to be plug your values in. The volume is equal to 1/3, which can be 0.333, times the base of the base is going to be 12. The height of the base is going to be 6. And the height of the whole figure is going to be 10. Notice how it is at a right angle to the base. The height always has to be at a right angle to the base. Now our last step will be to solve. So if you don't know that 1/3 is equal to 0.333, your first step is to divide 1 divided by 3. Then you're going to do times 12 times 6 times 10. Now your number may be off by a tiny bit if you round this to 0.333 or less. So the volume is going to be equal to, the volume, step 4, is going to be equal to 240 centimeters cubed. Now, if you don't have a calculator, what I would suggest that you do is you would take 12 and divide it by 3. That would make your numbers a lot smaller here. So then you would have 12 times 0.333 or divided by 3 would be 4 times 6 times 10, and that would be 6 times 4 is 24, 24 times 10 is 240. So if you're not using a calculator, that will make your calculation go a bit faster. Okay, so let's look at the last one here. Our base is in the shape of a triangle. Okay, and here is our height to the base. It's at a right angle to the base. So volume is equal to 1/3 area of the base times the height. Now, don't forget your 1/3 and don't forget what shape your base is in, because your base is in the shape of a triangle. Formula for the area of a triangle, don't forget your 1/3 times 1/2 base times height. That is the formula for the area of a triangle. Your base is in the shape of a triangle. And then times the height of the whole figure. Now we can plug our values in. I'm going to use 0.333 times 0.5. And we know that we get those values by dividing 1 divided by 3 and 1 divided by 2. Now the base of the base, the height and the base of the base are going to be at a right angle to each other. So it's going to be 15.1, and the height of the base is 11.3, and the height of the whole figure is going to be 18. Notice that they give us the third side, which is actually the hypotenuse on that right triangle. We don't need that. That's additional information that we didn't have to use. Now we can follow here and multiply our numbers together. So I'm going to do 0.333 times 0.5 times 15.1 times 11.3 times 18. And when I multiply all of those together, I get that the volume is equal to 511.378 centimeters cubed. Make sure that you're following all 4 steps. Write the formula, change the formula, plug in the values, and then solve. Make sure that you are focusing on what shape your base is in and following the order of operations. Thank you very much.